we're still 45% off. So that could be 10 years. But in terms of bubbles, and it's interesting because, you know, it's kind of fun to chase bubbles and to get out before they burst. And it's very hard to do that because, as Greenspan says, you never know when you're in a bubble. But we're probably in some sort of bubble right now as it relates to tech stocks, as it relates to foreign stocks. You know, we're seeing, you know, year after year large increases. And so the question is, when do those bubbles burst? And then when do people feel, hey, you know, I'm not going to invest in real estate, but I might as well buy a big home. Or they're going to take money off the street. They're going to take money off the market. They're going to pay their 15% capital gains, which, by the way, when capital gains go back to 20%, which they will because they have to, you're going to see probably people buying and selling then also. That's going to spur people. When people realize that their capital gains are going to go to 20, you're going to see some sort of increase in velocity of transactions because people are going to want that 15%. And if you ask me when that's going to happen, I suspect it won't happen under this administration, but it will happen under any other administration. I don't care what party it is, because someone has to pay the tab, and it can't be our children for the expenses that we're racking up. Racking up. I didn't mean that. Wasn't meant to be a pun. That was not meant. that we're racking up right now. Next. I do want to mention an interesting point, and that's income. From the 1960s to the year 2000, and if anyone has to go, Gene, be my guest. Be my guest. Can I?
An excellent presentation, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I've got to run the lot over.
Go. And that goes for anyone else. From 1960 to 2000, that's over a 40-year span, the average income that was required to support a home was about three times your income. Now it's 4.5 times your income. That's a 150% increase, and that started in around 2004. And so one realizes that income is not going to catch up to the point that we need to support the prices. So by definition, the prices have to come down. Okay, next. Go ahead, Bob.
From a planning perspective, it sounds like a great time for a Cupid.
A
Cupid, where you give the kids the house.
Oh, a Q-tip. Yeah, probably, absolutely. I mean, sure. Why not? Just going through my notes real quickly here. I want to briefly mention equity extraction, which is another term that the Federal Reserve likes to use. That has, in fact, been the fuel that kept the economy going on the consumer side. And without that equity extraction, without people being able to refinance their mortgages right now, we're going to see the following. And I want to talk about other real estate sectors real quickly, other than residential. And that is, we're going to see consumer spending coming down. We're going to see retail real estate coming down. We're seeing industrial real estate being slaughtered right now, and people don't realize it. But all the folks that are contractors and subcontractors, and we're renting warehouses to put their equipment and to put their supplies, a lot of them are going out of business. A lot of them do not need all this stuff. They're selling off their stuff on eBay or on other sites. And the landlords who have those vacancies are keeping those vacancies for very long periods of time. And the same holds true for commercial real estate. And that is that all the folks that are supporting the real estate sector, whether it's the mortgage broker or the insurance company, they too are contracting. And because they're contracting, a good chunk of the commercial real estate market is going to contract because they will not be able to get their rents, and there just isn't enough demand for the amount of supply that exists in the rental market right now. And my friends in those fields say that you're looking at probably a 10% reduction in values, in part because the Europeans had overpaid for much of the commercial real estate stock in Florida over the past 2 years. So I wanted to make that point. And the other thing is, and the Fed says this, that a lot of times you do see, as residential bubbles burst, that it just tends to drag down the other sectors of real estate along with it. And of course, then the residential one it leads the entire sector out. Yes?
Why are you so upbeat? Why do you think things are going to get better? I mean, the middle class has traditionally been the group buying new homes, and the middle class seems to be dead, or mostly dead. Jobs are going to places they haven't been before, and capital may be following it. Why do you think? What makes you sure you're not just fiddling while Rome burns?
Short term or long term?
Long term.
Because then you have no purpose to exist. I mean, you almost have to you have to have that perspective in life. And at least when Rome was burning, there was some music going on. What can I tell you? I mean, the point is that you need to have some sort of perspective. And the perspective I have is I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I do know that because I don't know, there are good things that could happen, but there are also some bad things that can happen. And I can tell you that right now, I mean, it's kind of funny when Greenspan says, when you're in the middle of a bubble, you don't know it. But they knew that the incomes weren't supporting the increases at the time, and they gave all these very technical reasons why it was going to be okay. Well, demand. I mean, that demand was supporting the supply. That the demand for the homes was supporting the price structure. But that demand was artificial demand. The demand was based on folks that had gotten out of the stock market. There were folks who had gotten out of techs. There were folks who were very upset about Enron and all the scandals and wanted nothing to do with the stock market. And so those people were all speculative investors who were just flipping contracts. They had no intention of ever using the property. And the initial people did okay on that. But then subsequently, now we see the corpses now. So they were wrong. But long-term in terms of Florida, demographically, even though the demographers have been wrong short-term, and we didn't talk about the budget cuts up in Tallahassee right now. The legislature's up there right now cutting $1.1 billion from the state budget. And where are they going to cut it from? They're going to cut it from education. And why are they cutting it from education? Because they gave it to education based on demographic trends that are not consistent with what they expected. If anyone saw the Wall Street Journal article on Saturday, they saw that some teachers on the West Coast have two classrooms for every classroom. One room for the students and another room for a photocopier, for excess books, for the book bags, because the people never came. And so they just over budget based on demographic trend that just didn't happen. And so there's going to be some medicine here. There's no question about it. I think that's it.